Hey, this is James Ortolani with Wilflex Inks.
Tyler Dummett with Workhorse Products.
Dave with Dick Clark Associates.
Alan Howe with Sadi Chem. You're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Aaron Montgomery and Terry Combs.
Welcome to the show.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It's Friday, April 12th, 2019. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at Equipment Zone and terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at aaronmontgomery.info. Today's show is going to be jam-packed and lots of fun and breaking news, what we always love here on the Two Regular Guys, being able to break news to the industry. So we've got some exciting stuff coming up with Josh Carruth and Marcia Derryberry from the ISS show and Impressions magazines, respectively. Big announcement for 2020 coming. So we're excited to hear this, and you're going to hear it here first. So that is exciting to get us started. And then the excitement continues, fresh off of a extremely sweaty, according to him, yoga session. Jay will be joining us to talk about branding and branding as marketing and how that looks, works, feels. And I'm guessing there may be a taco or two. And so we'll
anybody that knows Jay knows that there's going to be some talk of tacos. So.
Nice. So great stuff, Terry. But let's start off with some quick news item. I think we shared this last time, or it wasn't last week, but maybe the week before. But let's.
Well, there's a deadline approaching. The ISS, the Imprinted Sportswear Show, has a call for presenters. So mark your calendar. The deadline for submissions to be a speaker in 2020 is April 26th. And special note that this is a firm deadline. So they're not going to let us slide a week or two or three like years in the past, Aaron. So I know I'm going to get my suggestions for seminars back in right away, and I'm going to work on that this weekend and finish my taxes. So
make sure that my taxes, but
mine are barely started, that's for sure. But anyway, April 26th, if you'd like to be a speaker at the ISS shows, they're always looking for new folks. So if you have an idea, make sure that you submit some paperwork, and we'll have the link on our website so you can do that.
Awesome. Yep. And we've got people checking in with us, Terry, here. Lisa Shaw, former guest, checking in.
Good morning, Lisa.
Josh Ellsworth. He is Mr. Stalls TV himself. We've had Josh on the show as well. So he's checking in. He's here for the breaking news and more.
All right.
So, good morning, Todd. Good morning. And Joe, one of our 5 things gentlemen. Speaking of 5 things, Joe was kind enough to submit 5 things, but we still need 5 things from you guys. So if you head over to our website at tworegularguys.com/5 things, number 5, and we love doing that. So just get your submission in. It's basically a talking point, a way to kind of show off your company, but also really just a way to start the conversation. So if there's things that you want to talk about, things that you want to kind of have happen, just begin the discussion. And that's what 5 things has always been, just kind of a way to start the discussion. One other thing that I wanted to, I don't want to be berating the listeners necessarily, but I feel like I am here today. But regulators, we need regulator logos too. So those of you that aren't aware of what the regulators are, I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but Christine Shreve suggested that our tribe, our followers, our you folks that are so nice to tune in each week. You guys are the regulators to Two Regular Guys, the regulators. See how that works. So we need a logo for you guys. We need something to put out there. So when we're giving you swag, we have something to put on that swag. So anyhow, just wanted to get that.
So far, it's Christine Shreve's avatar. So
correct. That's what it's going to be. And so great. Lots more people checking in here, Terry. We've got Jesse Martinez checking in. So what up, boys? Good morning, Jesse. Janine Edwards from Fruit of the Loom and Jerseys, and David Shaw and Lee Wright, and Todd says we had him at tacos, so always good stuff. And, Christine said, I definitely want some regular swag, not with my picture on it. So, Christine, if that's the case, you're going to have to get people to start building those logos. We want to get those submissions. So,
Exactly.
Good stuff there. All right,
All right.
Terry. Well, so yeah,
Well-
that's what my wasn't really news, just my kind of update. So
Right, exactly. Hey, Aaron, we do want to thank all of our regular listeners, the regulators, and any new listeners tuning in today. If you have an idea for a future show, go to our Contact Us page at 2, regularguys.com, or reach out to us on social media. We are everywhere as 2 Regular Guys. If you are catching the live video via Facebook Live, please jump in and participate. And Aaron, with that, let's hear a word from our gold sponsor.
This is brought to you by Brighton Leap, makers of the Reggie Award-winning Embrilliance embroidery software. Embrilliance is different. You don't need hardware dongles or to trade active seats for every user. One license lets you run every computer in your shop at once. Embrilliance runs natively on both Mac and Windows. Your single license lets you install on both platforms. Embrilliance is modular. If you only need customizing with lettering, sizing, and recoloring, you can get just that. Embrilliance's unique stitch processing tools even allow you to resize and improve expanded stitch files from digitizers or stock collections for faster running, lighter embroideries. If you decide you need fully featured digitizing, it's fast and easy to add powerful design creation tools to your system. You can start with any tool and build your ideal kit. All Embrilliance programs run standalone or work together in their unified platform. See the difference for yourself at Embrilliance.com. 2 Regular Guys listeners can enter the exclusive code 2RG, that's the number 2RG, at Embrilliance.com/store for 10% off your entire purchase.
All right. Well, thanks again to Brighton Leap for their support. And they are our gold sponsor. We still have other sponsorship opportunities available. You can check that out at 2, regularguys.com/sponsorship. It's science, Aaron. It's just science.
It's science. We got it. We got it in there. That's it's science. We'll just leave it there. All right. Yeah. So Eric Campbell's actually in the comments section, checked in as 2 Regular Guys. So he is, so make sure that you're checking out those comments, all the links for everything he's posting up there. Great stuff. It's going to be a lively discussion here today. Let's see here. Great to be able to listen in. Lisa said, we'd love to see the graphics artists show off their work. Absolutely. You will get full credit for that Regulators logo, and we'll talk about you as often as we can. How about that? And then again, thanks to Embrilliance for their support, and pretty awesome to have a 2 Regular Guys discount code. You know, we always love that when we can help people get a little better deal that way. So just use that code 2RG there. It's up on the video screen if you're watching the video section. But shall we do this, Terry? Shall we dive in and finally
let's jump in? We have a lot to cover today.
Yeah, and we've dragged our feet long enough to make this announcement as exciting as it's going to be here. So this is going to be awesome. So let me start clicking. Terry, if you actually wouldn't mind starting us off there while I bring our guests in.
Yeah, we'd like to welcome to the show Josh Carruth, who the Imprinted Sportswear Show Director, and Marcia Derryberry, who is Editor-in-Chief with Impressions Magazine. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Awesome.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Sure thing. All right. Well, hey, Josh, I feel like we should have a drum roll. We don't have any sound effects in the studio. There it is.
I could have actually done that, but darn it, I didn't come up with that soon enough. Go ahead, Terry.
All right. Well, hey, Josh, are you ready to make this big announcement?
Well, I mean, we can have some fun with it first if you guys want to guess, or can we talk about what people have been thinking they've been
Yeah.
We've had some good comments.
Yeah, let's get some of the listeners to give us some things here. What are we thinking? Big announcement for 2020. What could be changing? Anybody have any ideas?
Yeah, and so some of the comments on social media range from a new show or moving one to Djibouti. That was actually a comment. And Brett Bowden is concerned that we're pregnant. That was one that came out. So
it sounds nothing like Brett.
Totally off character for him. But yeah, it's been fun. So I mean, you want me to tell you now? I mean,
let's just do it. Let's dive in. This suspense is killing me. My heart rate's already gone up. So.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. The press release will actually be going out next week, and we'll be kind of informing everybody in our world. But sharks with lasers, yes. So,
Todd beat you to it. Sorry, I didn't want to get
ISS, the Imprinted Sportswear Shows, and Impressions Magazine are making it official. We're aligning under the Impressions flag, and moving forward, we will go with Impressions Expos along with Impressions Magazine, since our mission is the same, to connect the equipment suppliers and manufacturers with the operators and decorators of the world. We'll have a unified voice, and we'll go at it together to educate our industry and make it the best it can be.
So as of next year, the Impressions
Starting in Long
Expo.
Beach. Starting in Long Beach, 2020, that will be where you'll start to see the signs at the show change. And we'll be talking about it leading up to then as a transition. But officially, the remaining shows in 2019 are ISS shows and Imprinted Sportswear shows. We're just kind of giving everybody the heads up and letting them know now they can expect to see some of those visual changes around the shows next year.
Fantastic.
Nothing's changing with the show. We're not going after any different markets, or our core is our core. We're dedicated to that. And I think that the Impressions brand is more representative of what our shows are. I mean, you guys have been to the shows, you've seen it. It's sportswear is a huge part of it, but it's more than that. And what sportswear is today, from athleisure or sports uniforms, what's sportswear? So it's a broader world. And Impressions is the leading publication in the space, and it represents it just fine. I don't see how it doesn't make sense for us.
Yeah, it sounds like it makes a ton of sense. So Marcia, tell us a little bit about the history and the connection here between the show and the magazine, and the excitement for you in this new brand.
Sure. Well, after months of strategizing and meeting, we're so excited to make this announcement. It kind of takes us back to our roots. Impressions Magazine was started in May of 1977, so next month it'll be 42 years old.
Wow.
And the publisher at the time saw the need to bring the industry together in a face-to-face event. And so he developed the Imprinted Sportswear Shows, which started in Dallas in 1978. By 1979, we had added an Anaheim show, which later became our flagship Long Beach show that everyone in the world attends.
Yeah.
And it's still our most popular, kind of our national type show. So back then, a lot of people used to refer to the show as the Impressions Show, and still do. I still hear it every time I go to a show.
Right.
So in a way, it kind of brings it full circle. But the synergies between the magazine and the shows have always been very close. In fact, the editorial team for Impressions, we're the ones that put together the ISS conference program. And so we sort of translate what we do in writing different topics over to the speaking. And then we've added, of course, this year, our exciting shop talks that the Ink Kitchen is helping us out with. They're really the driving force behind that. And that's been very popular on the show floor. But because we're leaders in industry education, it only made sense that the magazine and the show work closer together, and we sort of rebrand together under the Impressions Group, Impressions Magazine and Impressions Expo. So we're looking for lots of coverage, lots of changes in the 2020 conference program. We are looking for, as Terry mentioned earlier, the deadline is August 26th. We are really looking for a lot of new speakers, a lot of young voices. We understand the industry is changing. We always do have tons of new speakers on every year, but we're really looking to get some new blood on the program. And we hope you all sign up to take educational classes next year. It's really the way to sort of up your company skill level.
Yeah.
Well, no, Marcia didn't give you guys an extra 6 months. She meant to say April 26th, not August 26th.
Oh, what I
said. Everybody's like, oh man, I've got all summer.
Yeah. No, registration will be live by then. I got to put it together in June.
Very good.
Nice.
Thinking about the Impressions Awards. That's the other thing that's coming out in May. The call for submissions for Impressions Awards is coming out in May.
Nice.
Very good. Awesome. Well, hey, Josh, share a little bit of your vision for the future and some of the changes you guys have planned for 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, so we want to kind of continue some of the changes you might have noticed this year, with kind of continuing to enrich the experience at all of our shows, and aligning with the magazine will allow us to get that content to the show floor that much easier. So we've done a few things that you might have noticed with the shop talk lounges around the floor, and and even in Atlantic City, trying to just provide coffee in the mornings. And we did something for the exhibitors the night before, and really getting in touch and making it more of an experience than just the typical old trade show. So injecting some things like that, and continuing to find new ways, name aside, to provide the opportunity for opportunity. I mean, it's what we do, from an editorial, digital and print, as well as in real life at the shows perspective. So that's what our main focus and our main goal is. Moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is super exciting. Got a comment from Josh Ellsworth here. Love the simplified branding. The Impressions name is timeless and relevant to the audiences of all ages. Enjoyed Joshua's intro to February's publication, Nothing But a Number. So, yeah, great stuff. Everybody's on board here. And Christine says the Impressions Expo is looking to add new speakers. Perfect opportunity for some new people to get their voices heard. So yeah, very exciting and obviously relevant and timely. And man, we can't wait to see and hopefully be a part of what Impressions Expo is going to be. So,
and just to reiterate what Marcia had said about the conference, we've really been focusing on that as well. So I know I made the comment on the show floor, but that really goes beyond. We're really taking a look at the entire conference structure and what it's called, what it means, what the tracks are. I think that's something that we do well and we can always do better. And that's another really exciting part we're looking forward to.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for your time today and for breaking the news here on Two Regular Guys. We appreciate the opportunity to be that platform for you guys. Where can people get more information and kind of lock in to stay tuned for all the changes happening? Yeah,
so you can go to www.issshows.com or www.impressionsmagazine.com. And can keep up with us. Follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook. We have great communities being built there over the last year. We've seen some movement there too. People really starting to take to that. Hence where we sit here. From you guys going to a podcast to Facebook Live, it's starting to work. And we got some more news in the works too. So maybe in a couple of weeks we can come back and chat with you some more about some other stuff.
Oh, absolutely! Going on. Exciting, very exciting. Where you guys are always welcome here. So awesome. Thank you so much for your time,
for having us.
Marcia, Josh,
and Jay. I was just going to say I wanted to thank Jay for letting us take some time out of his marketing mastery.
Exactly.
He's just going to have to talk faster. I'm not sure that'll be a problem. So we'll see.
Also, I've had some people on the live comments ask how they get on the speaker program submission list. If you'll just email me, marcia.derryberry@emeraldexpo.com, I can send you the link. And that's to Christine Shreve and Jesse Martinez in particular. Awesome. They both just asked them. So stupid, I don't know how to do a live comment.
Well, perfect. No, you're just fine. That's perfect. We'll get that out there. And Eric, if you could maybe pop that in there, we'd appreciate that, sir. All right. Good stuff. Well, thank you guys. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. We're looking forward to the next announcement.
Thanks, guys.
You too. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too. All right, Aaron. Hey, I realized something that while we were talking that every Josh that's ever been on the show was participating here. So,
wow. All right. So in the comments,
I know that's the way my mind works. It's
oh my goodness. Yeah, little insight into the crazy world of Terry Combs, everybody. That's perfect. Right. All right. Well, fantastic. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Josh and Marcia for coming in and making that announcement here. The ISS shows becoming the Impressions Expo. So that is going to be fantastic starting Long Beach 2020. And looking forward to seeing all that. And thanks for them for checking in. But why don't we get the yoga master himself in here?
Yeah. Aaron, and perfect intro to branding is changing the name of the conference to better reflect what they are and who they are. So
Hold on, I'm just finishing my reps.
He's getting all that yoga done out of the way. We're gonna.
All right. Well, hey, let me give Jay a little introduction here. That rumor has it that Jay began his screen printing and graphics career sometime in the early 1980s in Mr. Perry's graphics class in high school. He started printing, in quotes, unofficial replica T-shirts of his favorite skateboarding companies. Yeah, there was a lot of larceny involved in a lot of people's intros here, as well as a few bands which will remain nameless. It's been over 30 years, and Jay is still hanging out with promo peeps and apparel geeks on the island of Misfit Toys. Jay is the marketing director for Equipment Zone, the founder of a weekly Twitter chat called Promo Chat, and a self-proclaimed CTO, Chief Taco Officer. Jay is a highly rated industry presenter and accomplished trainer on topics like branding, marketing, and social media. Welcome to the show, Jay.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah. Great to have you here. So I hear that you're a highly rated presenter on things like branding. So that's the rumor. Yeah. Let's prove it here, Jay. So what can you tell our audience about branding? Go.
Oh, wow. What can I say? Let me start with this. It's not easy. How about that?
Yeah.
Breaking news. You heard it here first. It's not easy. Yeah. So listen, guys, I'm excited to be here. That was really cool news. I was in the lobby, or as I like to refer to it, the penalty box, and I got to listen in. So that's some exciting stuff.
You were in the green room.
It wasn't that green, by the way. And there were no tacos. So I was a little disappointed. Little disappointed. We'll work on that for next time.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to our Arizona representative of Two Regular Guys to find out what happened to the tacos.
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking with my agent as soon as we're done here. So.
Okay. Nice.
Well, listen, let's get back to the real taco at Jay's place here. What we want to say, I want to first of all, again, thank you. This is an honor. I love doing this with you guys. It's an opportunity I wouldn't want to miss. So branding really isn't easy. And for a lot of us, we have a few years behind us, and a lot of smart marketers write a lot of smart books and have a lot of smart opinions. And there are a lot of definitions floating around on the topic of a brand and what branding is. So about a year ago, I kind of started to just squeeze it down into what do I really think this means? What does it mean to me, my experience? And I've come up with kind of 6 short sentences, and I started off with what it's not. So I say your brand is not your logo.
Okay.
Your brand is not what you do. Your brand is not your product, the thing you might make or the apparel you might decorate. So then I transition into what it is. Your brand is your style. Your brand is your promise to me, and your brand is how you make me feel. So with those things, I'm able to kind of get a better grip and get my arms around branding and the concept. And so I wanted to just today, with your permission, and obviously thank you for the invitation, is to talk a little bit more specifically in our industry about that, how it could fit, what we could do different. And I talk to a lot of people, as you guys both know. I go to a lot of the same trade shows you go to, and there's so many business owners in our industry that I got to just tell you, they screw it up. They just make a giant mess of this. And I think I know why now. I think they got excited and started their business, and I think they invested a lot of money in equipment, machines, and they may even have staff. They might have employees, and they've got their processes, and so they're feeling that pressure. They need that return on investment. And they need those sales, and so they're starving for that. The pressure's on, and they decide, hey, I know. Let's have a sale. And so they figure out, I got to have a sale. So they slap some marketing together. They fire off a few emails. They create some social media. And then they just sit there and wait for the orders to roll in. And, honestly, that just rarely works. And of course, you're going to get some luck. You're going to hit a few. You're going to get a few orders. But it's really not sustainable. And so I hope that through the discussion today, and maybe through some more work that we can do together in the future, we can talk a little bit through this, and we can put some structure behind it. Because listen, and you guys know, because I know because I know you. I mean, you tell me, is marketing overwhelming right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all the time.
Could we have a few more channels?
Yeah, I've got to check my messenger. Okay, I got to send out my email blast. Oh boy, what about my Facebook? Did I do my Instagram story right? What else? Yeah,
Exactly.
Was I update on
want
promo
everyone-
chat?
I want all the regulators and all the listeners to know that, of course, I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself a student of the game, just like everybody else. And maybe, just maybe, I'm 1.5 steps ahead of some of you, and that might be it. But I'm happy to share with what I have figured out. And here's the first thing: marketing's overwhelming, and especially when we're trying to figure it out together, and then we're trying to reach this hyper connected, really, really smart audience that is also very skeptical. And oh, by the way, they kind of hate marketing. They resist it.
Yeah.
So I figured, what can I do? What can I bring to the table to help break through that? And so here's the good news: when you use a formula, anybody's formula, at least you have a system. And I think marketing gets easier when you have a system. And so I want to share part of my formula today. And I kind of pulled this together with 25 years of work, doing campaigns for different companies that I've worked on, that I've worked for, campaigns internally and externally, searching through thousands of articles. I've attended a few seminars, as you know. I've presented a few seminars, as you know. And Terry, you'll be happy to know I've even read a few books.
On actual paper?
Yes, on paper.
Wow.
Yes. I know, crazy. I'm old school like that.
Nice.
So I pull all this together and I think of it in my terms. So I'm happy to explain what it means. But my formula is centered on what I call a style guide. A style guide. That's the name of it.
Well,
Nice.
that sounds pretty awesome. Tell Jay,
All
tell us
that simplified down into a
Yep,
style guide.
down
I
into a
love it.
style
That's-
guide. Don't we all need style and we need a guide.
well,
I
tell
need
us
one of those.
tell us more, my friend. Tell us more about your style guide.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow, I thought you'd never ask.
That's kind of what we do.
So the style guide has a purpose, and the purpose of the guide, and when I say guide, I don't mean a guy, like I got a guy. It's not that. Although if you want, we could be that guy. But
Yeah.
the purpose of the style guide is to have this working, living document that provides the guidelines. It provides an outline, and it really is going to give your brand what it should be, what it should look like, both graphically and in a written perspective. So meaning the visuals and the language. And so really, if you boil it down, a style guide is an instruction manual for how you could plan on your marketing and how to engage with your audience. So working on your brand's style guide will give you clarity. It's going to be that tool that you use to tell why my organization exists and why my customers should care. So when you have a style guide and you have it completed, all of your marketing strategies can flow from that because you'll have a solid foundation. You'll have it in a concise place, literally and physically, but you'll also have worked through some processes. So what that translates to is marketing gets easier when you have a style guide.
It sounds like when Aaron does his business planning and that sort of thing,
Yep.
it's some work up front, but then it's you're plugging in, right? It's the same when I talk about planning on your production floor. There's a lot of upfront work you have to do, but then it's easy. Then you're just plugging in the numbers and plugging in the opportunities. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here glowing, and I'm listening to you, just going, "This is all the stuff that I'm saying." It feels so good to have somebody as smart as Jay Bassell affirming me. So I appreciate that, Jay.
Aaron, you were right. You are right.
All right, show's over. We're out of here, guys.
7 years, we've reached our peak.
We reached the peak. Let's tell our wives and significant others, and we'll wave away.
Wave
Bye-bye.
away. All right. To the beach we go. Okay. Jay, so
Yeah.
obviously we're all on the same page here. It sounds like, maybe an instruction manual is in another way to describe what we're talking about here.
Perfect. Yep,
But
exactly.
Let's get to the nuts and bolts of this. What's in a style guide, though? Tell us a little bit more about
Okay,
that.
so it starts with a word called purpose. Your company's purpose. What do you stand for? I think everyone in your company, whether you're one person company or you have multiple employees, everybody in the company needs to seriously understand the following statement. We solve the following problem for the following audience. So what that means is you're going to explain, you're going to say, we eliminate, fill in the blank, challenge for fill in the blank customer. And you literally get that specific. And I know you might have multiple problems that you solve. You might have multiple styles and types of customers, but you need to get that specific. We solve the following problem for the following audience. And I'm not talking about cause marketing, which is awesome in every way.
Yep.
That could play an important role here, especially if it's authentic, especially if it's something you've already been doing. But in other words, none of us are going to be the next Ivory Ella saving the elephants, because that one's already done. There is already an Ivory Ella saving elephants.
Yeah.
So the point here is you need to know, how are you going to share the single most important idea, the purpose for which your customers and your community will get to know you? So that purpose is the starting point. Now, next, people need to know really what your story is. So you need to have one, maybe 2 paragraph summary of your story. Now, a lot of people get lost on this. So let me give you some finer definition here.
Yeah.
Your story is a blend of maybe both your personal background, your life, and now your business. So for example, what was the journey that brought you to this point? Why did you start your business?
Yep.
What do you love most about it? And then maybe you even go into some of the struggles you had to overcome to get to this point. So when you can pull all of that together, what your story begins to do is it begins to kind of humanize you, and it tells everyone else around you what makes you and your staff special, uniquely qualified. And so of course I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit about my purpose, but that story kind of becomes the beginning of what I will share, through my marketing channels.
Yeah. If I can jump in on the story part there real quick, Jay, I love the fact that, like I said, you're talking a little bit about your personal story, your, the business story, but also you're kind of talking about those struggles. So every great movie that's ever been made seems to center around, from what I've heard and some different things that I've read and stuff, that kind of hero's journey, where they start somewhere, they end up going off, they have some struggles, they come back home, and the happy ending occurs. And so if your business can tell that same kind of hero's journey like you're talking about here, that's I think that's huge for people. And like you said, most of the time it's more about, I can print 16 colors, or I have 16 heads of embroidery thread, and your customers don't give a crap about that.
No, they don't.
Sorry.
They don't at all. Yeah. And it's painful, especially when you're making that monthly lease payment, and you're just sitting there going, what do you mean you don't love the fact that I can print this, or my output is that, or my speeds and my yields and my feeds? And it's like, no, I don't care. It's funny. I remember that Terry is a huge Kansas fan. And I remember that he goes to the Dominican Republic with his boys. And I know that he's really into his grandkids.
Yeah.
Why do I know that? Because I care, because I like Terry, because those are the human connections that we make. So that story part is critical. And I know I'm not the first person to say that, and you hear a lot about storytelling, story selling, how to storyfy yourself. But you do have to have this little 2-paragraph, pull it in together, make it real. And you'll be surprised how many of your own employees don't really know what the story is.
Well, I agree with that. I thought it would be better if Aaron, instead of using a movie, would have used my novel, Sometimes Jennifer, available on Amazon, as the as his example. But a year ago at ThreadX, I remember listening to Mel Lay from Sandy Lake Apparel. And she basically talked for an hour, and all she did was tell her story. And it really struck me, and it stayed with me today, that what a great story she had to tell. She didn't talk about, hey, most of my prints are 1 and 2 color. She didn't talk about most of my prints are youth garments, or I started printing my garage. But it was a much deeper story. So Jay, this story guide, you're talking about an actual document, right? Where you explain your purpose, share your story. Yeah,
Terry, you got it. And your background in journalism is helping, no doubt. So you nailed it. Of course I'm summarizing this down for the purpose of the show and making sure that we can, make some some points that make sense because I don't have any physical document to show you. But yes, that's exactly correct. It is a literal living, breathing document. And it's okay to change it. It should change. It should evolve. Your purposes evolve. Your stories move. But it's more than those two things. So you got it, but there's more.
All right. So Christine does say sometimes Jennifer is a good book. She owns a copy. So there you
Very
go,
nice,
Terry.
Christine. Thank you.
We got your
Hey, someone
shameless.
bought it. Woo!
Yeah, got your shameless plug done there. You
Hey.
feel better now? All right, out of the way.
I plugged my book one time in 7 years, so there.
All right.
Gary had a 7-year itch. It was eventually going to happen.
Oh man. All right. Well, so here's the deal, Jay. We've got you for more time, so I have to pull some more out of you.
Okay,
That can't be it. That there's no way that that's it, especially from you. So what else?
Okay.
2 paragraphs? There's no way.
No way.
But wait, there's more.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay. So, well, how much time do we have, anyways?
You just go. You just
Okay.
go. All right.
So let's talk about what else is in the style guide. So yes, you're right. There's more to it. Now, and I'll cover 2 more core pieces. So we had purpose, we have story. Let me get into the next 2. So the next part of the style guide would be where we start to identify the character of your company. And a lot of people get stuck on this one, but it's not as hard as you think. So the point of this is it will help reinforce what makes you special, the fact that you are unique. And here's how that works is we each have personalities. So does your company. And it typically starts from the founder or the CEO, the person that started it, the owner.
Yeah.
And that personality of the person starts to trickle down into the company.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't have to be, and it's not an exact mirror of that person's personality. And as you inject more staff and more people, then the personality gets a little bit more cloudy, or it might have a louder voice. So I think it's really important, though, that we kind of focus in on that. And so I developed a few things, and I'll give you 4 quick examples of how to find that voice, how to find that personality of the company. So, for example, think of this. We'll use Terry as the example. So I'll ask you, Aaron, and you tell me about Terry. Is Terry more playful and lighthearted, or is he more serious and sober?
Well, I wasn't sure when you got to sober. That was the part that threw me up. No.
Well, it's only 8:30 in Arizona, so he should be sober.
Okay. Playful and lighthearted. He's
Okay.
That's why we're
definitely
best
more
friends.
playful and more
Yes,
lighthearted
yes,
than he
yes.
is serious. So now I work with Terry. I've seen him when he's serious and when he's sober, but for the most part, he is a playful, lighthearted, very kind and warm person.
Absolutely.
So your business is the same way. And you can define this. You can kind of move this a little bit. Do I want my business to be known as a company that's playful and lighthearted, or is it a company that's serious and sober? And we can do the same thing with, like, for example, is it economical or is it luxurious? Is it vintage and classic, or is it more modern and contemporary? And then the last one, and I've got 10 or 12 of these. I'm just giving you the first 4 that were easy.
Yeah.
Is it a business that's simple, uncomplicated, or is it the type of company and the type of business that's complex and intricate? Now, these aren't neither great nor neither bad. They're just words.
Yeah.
And it's okay that your business could be considered, and part of your personality is intricate and contemporary. That's totally cool. And you could have part of your business be playful and lighthearted. That's totally cool. And every business is going to have a slightly personality, not disorder, but they're going to have some differences. And so I think it's really important that you kind of identify those down and maybe even put it on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, is my company more simple and uncomplicated, or is my company more complex and intricate? And as you go down through this chart, it just gives you some more clarity. And it helps you say, oh, okay, that's why my purpose is the way it is. And that helps me define my story.
Yeah.
And so you pull those things together, and you're able to then understand that you're ready to begin the process of the next phase, which is really the design, which is really the creation, which is really things like your logo. And a lot of people have it backwards. How many people have we met over the years that are brand new to the business? They don't even have anything yet, except they have a logo and they have their business card.
Or how many people here have done that? Oops.
So, hey, hindsight, right? Wisdom. Yep. It comes with time, Aaron. And so we can use this tool, the story guide, to position ourselves so that then when we are ready to create the visuals, the printed materials, the business cards, letterheads, flyers, all the signs, all the posters, including the digital media, the content for my website, my landing pages, my emails, my email signature, all of my social media icons, all of my banners, everything can pull and be drawn from that style guide, because we have now we're starting to see the alignment, if that makes sense. And so all of those ingredients pull together, and then you'll also start to see some consistency. So I don't know, there's a big, I'm gonna see if I can pull this out right now, because I actually keep a copy near me. So can you guys see this okay?
Yeah, and hold on one second. Let me put you as the big picture in the middle. There we go. Now we can see it easily. Yep.
Okay. So this is a popular book right now for a lot of people that are in marketing. And I got a chance to listen to Donald Miller, I guess, who's the CEO of StoryBrand. And he's the author of that book, Building a Story Brand. And just right out of the gate, he blew me away with this statement, and I'll quote it. He says, "People don't buy the best products and services." And I was like, what? I was disappointed. What do you mean they don't buy the best products and services? He says, they buy the ones they can understand the fastest. So let that sink in for a minute. People buy the products and services that they actually understand, that they get. And so if it's something that's disorganized, and if it's something that doesn't have a purpose, and if it's something where the story is disjointed and all of the visuals are off, it creates friction, and people can't understand that. They don't get it. So even if you have the world's greatest, most amazing apparel decoration, if you're the world's greatest embroiderer, if you can laser engrave like nobody's business, if you know how to do an underbase and you've got special ink and high density that and pull and push compensation here and all that stuff, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care because they don't get it. So when you think about all of that and you pull this all together, you kind of realize that alignment and this consistency is a big deal. And so with the great product and with that great service, that so many of your listeners are awesome and do have great service and do create amazing apparel or decorate on amazing ways, you know, then when you pull all those things together and you have that consistency and that alignment, then people start to feel it, and they feel it at a different level. And so I started this conversation by saying, what is branding and what isn't branding? So if we think about that one more time, your brand is your style, your brand is the promise you make me, and your brand is how you make me feel. And so I think that those are some of the things that, you know, help. And that style guide, the purpose of that style guide is to give you a place to really do the work and to focus in on those things. Yeah. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And when you're saying, you know, how you make me feel, that's me equals the person buying the products or services, your customers. Yeah, exactly. And I think I've seen that a ton, where people just kind of get lost in that whole, you know, they're living this every day. They got the blinders on, and they're, you know, like you said, thinking about their number of threads or colors of screen prints and all that other stuff. And this is fantastic. So keep going, Jay. I mean, this is good stuff.
I really want people to understand. I really do get it. I really do understand what it feels like. I've owned my own screen printing business. I've owned my own promotional product agency with my family, and I've worked for a few, and I've been around the block. I've been to a lot of shops. And I've met a lot of business owners, and I understand the pressures. I understand I got to get orders out. You know, I understand the drama there and the friction there. So do yourself a huge favor, especially if you're an existing business, because you probably haven't done this in a while. Take a break. Take just a couple of hours, 3 hours. Just turn your phone off. Say goodbye to all digital for 3 hours. Tell your wife you're fine, or your significant other, your husband, whatever, and you're going to go for 3 hours to I don't care where, and then get out a piece of paper. And I'm happy to help you with some of the points in the style guide, and then just work on it. Like Terry said at the very beginning, like, you know, Aaron, if you could just get some of this work done on a Saturday or a Sunday, it really helps the rest of the year even to flow better. Yep. And so I think a lot of times people just think, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And you know what? You don't. Yep. So I wanted to create a tool that would help. And I think I might have hinted to you guys a few months ago that I started doing this. I started working on this. I got to give credit where credit is due. Marshall Atkinson kind of pushed me, encouraged me, because he invited me to go speak at their inaugural Shirt Lab last October. And I touched on a few of these topics, and then I started working on the style guide because Mark Coudray said, "Oh, dude, that is a killer idea, and you should create one for our industry." And I was like, "Well, if you say so." okay, Mark. We're not worthy. So, and I've talked to Terry, and I've talked to other, close friends that are industry experts, and everybody's like, "Yeah, man, I wish I would have had a tool just like this." So I wanted to come up with something and have it explain in greater detail than what we've done here today. Of course, I've simplified the process, but it's about a 10-page document, something that you could easily read in 30 minutes, no problem. It has examples. I've worked out some examples, actual physical show you a picture of what I mean, and I've put together a worksheet. So I'm about a month away from having this thing completed. I'm not here to sell anybody anything. I don't want you to think that's why I came on today, but I want to plant the seed that I'm working on this. It's not going to be free. It's going to be affordable. And my hope is to make a difference. My genuine hope is to say, hey, if you only complete half of the style guide, that's better than nothing. Now you've got a little bit more purpose, a little bit more clarity on your story, your visuals and your language and everything you do that represents you. Because think of it this way, your website and all of those digital assets, they're always on.
Yeah.
So even when we're asleep, even when we're out of town, even when we're sick, if I get my branding right, and if I have a cool style and I start to make promises that matter and people feel good about me when I do business with them, that sticks, that lasts, that makes a long-term impact on the course of my business. So anyway, guys, I'm kind of planting the seeds now that my hope is to come back at some time and tell you that here's my style guide. I got it. And I want people to be able to use it themselves. But listen, there's more. I want people, that sounds like a commercial, but wait, there's more.
You get the Ginsu knives.
And forgive me for getting excited about this, but here's my vision on this. I want the apparel decorators, I want the regulators listening to this show to know that this tool is also for them to then brand and use as a tool to help other small businesses in their area. Because if you get good at this, it shows, and credibility goes up, your authority goes up, you're thought of as a thought leader. Other like-minded business owners see this and they're like, man, you really got your stuff together. So what do you know? What's the secret? And if you had a tool that you could sit down with other small business owners and say, hey, I went through this, it was totally cool, let me help you. It's going to lead to more orders, right? Because think about it. If you could help another small business with their branding, help them find some clarity, help them tell their story, you don't think that that's not going to pay back in future orders?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think it's a way to really help our industry, to help apparel decorators, embroiderers, screen printers, people that are into heat presses, DTG audiences, all of us, the dysfunctional cousins that we are.
What about podcasts?
Yeah, and our podcast listeners and
no,
people
just
that
podcasts.
Anyway, guys, that's really the meat on the bone, was to figure out this process, having a style guide, using it as your formula, and then getting that alignment, getting that consistency, so that you're gonna be able to be clear on your branding, and you're gonna then be able to help other small businesses with their branding.
Nice.
Well, Jay, you've set yourself a deadline now, because we're going to have listeners a month from now saying, "Hey, when's Jay coming back? Has he done with that project?" So
good. I need a little pressure on me right now to get this thing done.
Let's get that pressure going, because then Terry's going to grab it and he's going to do the style guide for 2 regular guys too. So.
Very good.
we certainly have a story.
we need to, yeah, exactly.
Hey, I heard part of that story. I think it had something to do with Ybor City. I'm not sure.
Indeed.
Possibly started there.
Maybe some chicken wings.
Yeah. More than just chicken wings.
Nice. Hey, real quick, I want to get to a couple of the comments because it's been great here. We've got lots of people tuning in. But Brett said, I never thought branding was important, but Jay changed my mind. Thanks, Jay.
I think that's a little tongue in cheek, but
but that's Brett's style, I mean, that's
exactly right.
And it just
It is
kind
his
of
style. Yeah,
dripped out of
that's
him.
exactly right. It's okay to be. By the way, sarcasm sells. I'm just
Yep.
here to tell you.
Absolutely. Ron says J Rock the first shirt lab. So good stuff.
Thank
there.
you,
Let's see.
Ron. Thank you,
Trying to
Ron.
get through. We had a whole bunch of great stuff there. Here we go. Justin asks, Jay, is there an email list to sign up to get a notification when this is available?
Ooh, good idea. Why don't we work something through the two regular guys?
Okay,
Absolutely.
We'll figure something out for sure. Yeah, Justin, just reach out to me at Aaron, AARON, at tworegularguys.com, and that'll be good. This is just funny. Brett says, isn't it funny how the best taco joints have bad branding?
Especially in Austin, Texas, right?
Especially
yes.
in Austin, Texas. Yes.
Yeah, there are some great taco joints that have killer branding, but I think for the most part we could agree having a picture of a taco on the front of your front of your building or sign is a good indicator. It's a starting point. But yeah, we could do better.
We can do a little better. Okay. All right, Jay. Well, tell us where people can find you and connect with you and everything going on in your world.
Yeah, so when I'm not at the yoga studio, you could get a hold of me at you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Twitter, Jay, first name Jay, Bussell, Busselle, Jay Bussell, either place. You're welcome to email me if you want, j.b at Equipment Zone. But for these topics, this is kind of an outside project away from Equipment Zone. So, reach me on LinkedIn. Let's connect there, or follow me on Twitter. We'll talk about tacos for sure. It'll come up. It will.
We won't let you not talk about tacos now.
I know at this point, right?
I do feel like we have to have a little explanation about. We've been talking about yoga all morning. When we scheduled this, and I mentioned in an email to Jay and to Marcia and Josh that we're going to be starting at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Jay goes, "You understand that that's 8 a.m. our time, right?" and my response was, "Well, Jay, when you're done with yoga and your run, we'll be ready to start." So it's been kind of a running joke all week.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Jay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Really appreciate all
Appreciate
the
it.
information. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jay.
Take care.
All right,
All right.
Terry, Jay Bussell, checking out. Definitely fantastic information. Like I said, I knew he could speak fast, and he apologized for being excited about something, and we're like, yeah, that's kind of what we like. So
Exactly.
keep bringing that excitement. Great stuff there. Promo chat. I don't know if we talked enough about promo chat, but if you head over to Twitter on Wednesdays, Jay, give me a nod if I've got that right. Still, it's been a little bit, but check out promo chat on Wednesdays. Eric says, yeah. So good stuff there. Terry, wow, what a great show today.
Impact with a lot of great information and announcements and future announcements coming. So yeah, in fact, everybody that talked today had something, a reason to come back and share with us sometime over the next 2 weeks to a month. So
Nice.
look forward to
Yeah, I'm not
everybody
sure if that's planned or not, but hey, we're all for it. Nice. Well, hey Terry, I wanted to share a couple quick things that I've got coming up here, if you don't mind, real quick.
Absolutely.
So as you guys may or may not know, Small Business Saturdays has been something I've been doing about a year now, and today I've actually got a special episode of Small Business happening on a Friday. So the joke is a rabbi and a regular guy are going to talk ethics. But that actually is true. A gentleman, and he is a rabbi. His name is, excuse me, Yonason Goldson. Rabbi Yonason Goldson is going to be joining me. He's a teacher of ethics and how that ROI converts to small businesses. And so he says with his 3,000 years of knowledge, he brings the story. And obviously, he's, like I mentioned, he's a rabbi, so we could not do Saturdays. So when I suggested that he shows up on a Saturday, he's like, yeah, I can't do that. And I'm like, ooh, man, I blew that one. But no. So anyhow, that's going to be today at 1 p.m. over at Aaron Montgomery .info, that my Facebook page, facebook.com/AaronMontgomery.info. So I'd love it if you'd check that out a little bit later this afternoon and So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to share with people, my latest column, I've got a column in A&E Magazine that happens every other month or so, depending on what their schedule is, but it's called The Rising Tide of Business. And this month's May's magazine that just came out, I've got an article in there, Keeping Up with Changing SEO. So take a lot of the information that we got from Will and my friend Will over at Red Canoe Media, and he helped me get all the details right in there. So that's what I've got coming up. Terry, what about you?
Well, Aaron, I've got my complete screen printing business course coming up here in Phoenix at the end of this month at Workhorse Products. It'll be April 27th and 28th. My next class in Chicago with Atlas Screen Supply will be June 22nd and 23rd. I'm going to be in Atlanta, Aaron, with the Equipment Zone crew, including Jay Bissell. On April 26th, we'll be putting on an Epson F2100 Road Show with lots of hands-on and lots of great information. It's a free event, and you can find out about that at equipmentzone.com. And I've got 2 seminars coming up, Aaron, one on DTG and one on screen printing at the DAC show in Chicago. That's May 3rd, and I'll be one of the Equipment Zone crew giving a free day-long DTG seminar at the MBM show Milwaukee, May 16th. And all my upcoming events for 2019, and Aaron updated, you can find at terrycombs.com under the caption tour dates.
Nice. So Workhorse Products says, all right, can't wait to see you at class, Terry. So
awesome.
Apparently they weren't sure if that was confirmed. I'm not real sure about that. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Fantastic show. Can't believe that we actually got it done on time, but thank you very much to Josh and Marsha for coming in and breaking news. So the Impressions Expo is coming to you 2020. That was fantastic. And we're going to hold them to breaking their next bit of news on the show with us in a few weeks. And then super big thanks to Jay Bissell and his time and his information. And yes, we will be putting the pressure on him to get that style guide template or whatever it's going to be called done. So can't wait to get that information from him. And like I said, Terry, we should do a style guide for the 2 regular guys.
We should, absolutely. I'm going to get right on that after I finish my taxes. All right.
You got to wait for Jay's thing to come out anyway. So you got plenty.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. We also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell. You can find him at ericcampbell.com. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Embrilliance, and their family of products.
Outstanding. And next week's show, we're going to be welcoming Lindsay Salcedo to talk about special events and the transition from decorated hobbyist to professional. So back into the embroidery world a little bit for us, which always makes Terry and I a little bit uncomfortable. So we have our go-to guy, Eric, who will be helping us out a ton. So Eric, just putting it out there. Help.
All right. Well, until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the 2 regular guys.